Now let's look at the set of logical reasoning problem that we have in the QA MCQ section. I would say it has been a tradition in IPM Indore over the last few years that in the MCQ section, there is a set of 5 questions which can be considered either as data interpretation or logical reasoning, or at times a combination of both. And this particular set of 5 questions, I would say, is a hidden gem. If you have done good amount of practice, or if you do good amount of practice, that will help you familiarize yourself with certain type of data interpretation and logical reasoning sets, and also get a know-how of how to solve them. Believe me, solving this set that has appeared in IPM Indore over the last few years is quite easy. Now, let me prove that point with the help of the set of questions we have here now. Now, the data given talks about certain drugs and certain organisms. Now, there's a pharmaceutical company which is testing the effect of 5 drugs, A, B, C, D, E, on 3 organisms, P, Q, R. And there is some information given to us in the form of statements. Let's understand. The first statement says, each drug works on at least 1 organism, but not more than 2, which means row-wise, each drug should work with or should work on at least 1 and at most 2 organisms, which means every row must have either 1 or 2 ticks. Similarly, second statement, each organism can be treated with at least 2 and at most 3 of these 5 drugs, meaning vertically, if I take organism P, now it can be treated by at least 2 or at most 3 drugs. So which means in every column, either we should have 2 or 3 tick marks. On which organism A works, B also works. Okay, it is given that A works on R, which means B also works on R. And can I extend this? Any more conclusions I can make? Yes. Since B is working on Q and R, it will not work on P, because row wise, I should have either 1 tick or 2 ticks. Next one. Also, one more point here. If I look at organism P and drug A, what can I conclude? Does drug A work on organism P? No. You know why? If I say that A works on P, based on the condition we just learned, it must work on B also. Now, since we are saying it will not work on B, it means it cannot work on A. Next point. Similarly, on whichever organism C works, D also works. Now, C works on Q, which means D also works on Q. Now, if I look at organism Q, I already have 3 drugs working on it, B, C, D, and that's the maximum, which means drug A and drug E do not work on Q. Now, when we look at the last statement, it says D and E do not work on the same organism. Okay. Now, D and E do not work on the same organism. All right. Now, when I look at R, can I say R will work on C or C will work on R? No. Why? Because if I say C works on R, I will have to say D also works. Now, the problem is, in that case, there are 4 drugs which are showing an effect on R, but column wise, the maximum number of ticks I can have is only 3, which means the drug C does not work on R. Also, if I look at D and E, if it works on D, then it does not work on E. Or if it works on E, then it does not work on D. So which means it has to be on one of these two cases. So we will come back to that in a while. Now, when I look at organism P, now C must work, right? Now, if C works, then D must work. And D and E do not work on the same organism. Hence, E does not show any effect on P. Now, since every drug must work on at least one organism, it will help me determine that E works on R. And since E works on R, D cannot work on R. Now, before you conclude, one, cross-verify if all the statements are satisfied. And number two, also verify whether every row has either one or two ticks and every column has either two or three ticks. I understand that it will take a bit of time for you to do this, even if it takes 4 to 5 minutes and you are able to fill up the table properly. Believe me, guys, answering the 5 questions under this set together will not take more than a minute. Let me show you. So the answer for question number 26, drug D works on, as you can see in the table, it works only on P and Q. Answer option B. Now question number 27, organism P can be treated with. Now organism P can be treated with only C and D. Answer option D. Question number 28, organism R can be treated with A, B, and E. Again, answer option D. Question number 29, drug E works on only R. Answer option D. And the 5th question, the 30th question, the organisms that can be treated with 3 of these 5 drugs is R. Now, I have 2 organisms, both Q and R. R can be treated by 3 of the 5 drugs given. Hence, answer option A. Now, as you might have noticed, it has taken a couple of minutes for us to fill up the table. But once we are able to do it correctly, answering all the 5 questions under that, we have not taken more than a minute. So it is extremely important that we give due weightage to the topic of logical reasoning and invest some effort onto that, so that if we are able to solve this particular set in the exam, it helps you score almost 20 marks, which is halfway to the cutoff of the QA MCQ section.